So meditation should be the easiest thing in the world to do, because it's just doing absolutely nothing. And if you do nothing and just let things be, everything just settles down all by itself. However, if you try to quieten down your thoughts, you just make more thoughts. Just like the old story of the 4 monks who had a vow of silence. When one of them sneezed, and the first monk said, "Bless you." The second monk said, "You just broken your vow of silence." The third one said, "Ha ha ha, so have you." And the fourth one said, "I'm glad I'm the only one here who can keep quiet." Which shows you that as soon as you try and stop your thinking, that's another thought. So instead we have this other beautiful way of learning how to get peace of mind, which is what meditation is supposed to give you, peace of mind. So we start by getting peace of body, and then we go on to peace of mind. And what do I mean by peace of body? It means your body's nice and relaxed and at ease. It hasn't got any aches and pains or tightness or tension anywhere. So we begin by learning how to relax our body really deeply. And so we start, you're sitting on a chair, and I'll lead you through this. I'll ask you, are you comfortable? And a lot of times it's amazing, because we're not that aware of our bodily feelings, because we're too busy thinking about something else or doing something else. It means we're not really aware of whether we're comfortable or not comfortable. Just like a person who watches a football match or a movie and their foot goes to sleep, or they get some other ache or pain afterwards. They should have moved halfway, but they're sort of not really aware of what's going on in their body. So here we're very aware of how our body is. And if we want to move, we move. If we want to scratch, we scratch. If we want to cough, we cough. Because if you don't cough in meditation, some people feel, I better not cough, I'll disturb other people. And what happens is what we call in meditation the volcano effect. So you block it up, and just like a volcano, it builds up pressure, and it's gonna blow. And when it does blow, it's an enormous noise when you cough. And just like a volcano, which spews all the molten lava and ash over the people close by, that's what you do when you cough. So a small cough now stops a big eruption later on. It's just common sense and a little bit of kindness towards your own little body. So you look at your body, it's important to you, and you learn how to care for your body. Not just for a couple of seconds, but for 5 or 10 minutes. A lot of times people think, oh, my body's comfortable, and they don't look anymore. You adjust this, adjust that, until by movement you cannot get your body any more comfortable, but there are still aches and pains in your body, especially when you get to 777 months old. There's always an ache or a pain somewhere. So now what you do, you focus your mindfulness, your awareness, just on that small part of your body which is the most irritating, the part which hurts, the part which is tense and tight in your body. You zoom in on it. And once you focus on that one part of the body, once you have awareness, you find actually you can sort of control that part of the body, you can manipulate it. What you do, you will be able to notice that feeling of tension, tightness, irritation or pain changes. It sometimes gets worse and it sometimes gets better. And soon you will be able to notice it gets worse whenever you try to control it, you worry about it. But if you can just let it be kind to it, you find that part of the body just relaxes and a lot of the pain goes away. I like telling the story. When I was a young kid, born in a very poor part of the world, actually people don't realise this, they think I was English, but I was actually born in the bush. Shepherd's Bush, yes, in London. I'm a boy from the bush. So a poor part of London, used to spend a lot of time playing soccer in the streets, and whenever you'd fall over, you'd scrape the skin off your knees. My mother, I'd run to my mother, 6 or 7 years of age, crying in pain. She would just kneel down and, in her words, kiss it better. And just that little bit of kindness took all the pain away. And it never got infected. And I didn't realise at the time just that is like the power of kindness, to relax the body and take away most of the tension, the tightness and the pain. So, what you're doing now, you may have like a headache, a tummy ache, an ache in your knee. You focus on that and you learn how to give it some kindness. And if it really is kindness, if it's letting it be, you'll find the irritation, the ache, the pain gets a tiny bit less. Only a tiny bit at first, but it shows you what's possible. And this is like a learning process, a training. You learn how to give kindness to that part of the body more and more and more, and it relaxes the irritation until, with a little bit of practice, you can take an ache or a pain anywhere in your body and you can relax it totally away. I've been doing this for a long time, and so I'm really good at this. You have like a cough, you have like a cold, you have a tummy ache, you can actually relax it away. It's wonderful to be able to do that. Recently when I was in Indonesia, I don't know what I ate, but I was vomiting. I'm getting really tired, so after one vomit I thought that's enough now. So I just relaxed all the pain away and then went to sleep. When I woke up, then I could carry on my vomiting again. So at least I had a break, which was very nice. So that's, sometimes you can do stuff like that. And I must admit that I got one of my most wonderful letters from somebody in Eastern Europe, or middle of Europe, I think, Germany somewhere. An elderly lady who had arthritis, severe arthritis, and had to take these very strong medications just to get through the day, with lots and lots of bad side effects. But that's the only way she could cope. And she sent me this email saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. I tried this method of meditation and said, now I don't need any more medication because I've got no more arthritis. And that was wow, almost like a miracle. She could actually do that. Even I didn't think that was possible, but she followed this and she managed to actually take the arthritis, the pain, all away, which was a wonderful thing, because I know just how painful that can be and how debilitating it can be. So honestly, this is not small stuff, this is actually big stuff. With mindfulness, which is aware of a little part of the body, stay there until you can see the pain, the irritation get less or get worse. Stay there long enough and until you connect the attitude of your mind to that part of the body, and you soon learn that fear, control, trying to do something with this makes it worse. It makes it tense. You can feel it getting tighter. When you sort of let it go, you can relax it, sort of loosen the tension, and you find it starts to relax really, really deeply. And even aches and pains and really sicknesses, they can actually vanish, which is amazing to be able to see that. But at the very least, you can relax it so your body feels better than when you came in here. Very free, very relaxed, and also has huge health benefits, obviously. So you learn how to relax the body first of all. Now, all the time you're doing this, you are developing the two most important parts of meditation. The mindfulness, the awareness, to be able to be aware of something and keep that awareness there, and the kindness, to be able to relax it. Because once your body is relaxed, it feels really good. It feels nice. You feel great. And once you've done that with your body, then use that same method to your mind. to relax it. Because all of the problems you face inside, they're all like the aches and the pains and the sicknesses in the body, but they cause tightness and tension to your mind. So, what we need to do is, first of all, when we look at our mind, just to see how comfortable it is, how relaxed it is, how peaceful it is. And the opposite of peacefulness is, I call, agitation. It's just too much stuff going on. So see if you can be aware, mindful of that particular indicator, peace, agitation. That's the two ends of it. And once you actually see how peaceful you are, how peaceful you aren't, and you can be aware of that, then you notice that does actually change. You get a little bit more peaceful, a little less peaceful during the meditation. Why? And see if you can connect the dots and see again, it's the attitude of your mind. If you're trying to control your mind, it gets tighter and more irritating, more agitated. But if you can do a little bit of letting be, a bit of kindness, a bit of softness, it's okay, you're fine, no worries, you'll be right. A little bit of kindness like that, you find that even the mind gets a little bit more peaceful. And mindfulness gives you feedback, and that's how you learn how to relax your own mind, to make it nice and peaceful and calm. You can actually see it getting more and more calm. And as you get more and more calm, things like thoughts and worries and thinking about all the stuff you had to endure in the past, you find that disappears by itself. Because all those thinking and worries and stuff, that's actually not a real problem. The problem is the mind is a bit too agitated. It needs to relax and calm down. When it calms down, all the thoughts and worries tend to disappear. It's just like the simile of a lake or a pond of water. All of the stuff you're really worried about, your fears, anxieties, all the traumas of your past, the difficulties you've had to face, they're like waves on the surface of the lake. And if the lake calms down, then so do the waves. Until all those thoughts, I don't know where they've gone, but I don't care, they've gone, bye-bye. And you have a bit of peace. And the peace of mind is the goal of meditation. So you learn how to be really, really, really peaceful. Now many people, when they do this, when they start to get peaceful, what happens next is they fall asleep. And if that's what happens to you, fine. All it is you're catching up on what we call sleep deficit. It's because most people these days don't sleep enough. And even if they do lay in bed, they don't sleep properly. They worry all night. So at the very least, this little method of meditation, you can try when you go to sleep, just relax the body, relax the mind, and at least you can have a peaceful night's sleep. And that by itself will solve so many problems. People get grumpy, they get sort of nasty at each other, and a lot of time it's just because everyone is so tired. They don't really know how to rest well, so just this much will solve a lot of problems in life. But after you get a little bit sleepy, after a while the sleepiness just vanishes by itself. You recharge your energies of your brain with a bit of calmness and stillness, and then when you're recharged, your mind feels so peaceful and so alert and alive. And also you feel a lot of peace and joy and happiness. The happiness which comes from meditation is just like mental energy. So because we haven't got much mental energy, it's all used up by worrying and thinking. That is one of the reasons why we get a bit tired. But just wait, this meditation will recharge you. You feel much better afterwards. And that's how the meditation works. We will do a little bit of focusing on the breath, because when people first start, a lot of times they need something to watch. After about 10 or 15 minutes, if it's just trying to watch peace, they get a bit bored unless you're very skilled at noticing this. So what I will introduce to be aware of your breath, and as you breathe in, imagine breathing in peace. Really imagine it, visualize it, give it a face, or give it sort of a quality, peace. If it's just like a breeze on on a warm day just flowing over your hair. Something which is really peaceful, just coming into you. And as you breathe out, anything which you'd love to get rid of, all of your problems, all of your difficulties, all of your fears, imagine that coming out. If you have some disease like a cancer, imagine breathing out the cancer, breathing in health. So you can use the breath as a vehicle to imagine really beautiful things coming into your body, and anything which is negative, anything you want to get rid of, breathing out your husband. I shouldn't really say that. Breathing in. Most of you are women here, so I think I can get away with that. Breathing out all your problems, breathing in happiness. Actually, did I tell the joke about the diamond necklace last time?
Probably.
Diamond necklace? I haven't had that one. Oh, because this husband, he bought his darling wife this really expensive diamond necklace. Cost him a fortune. And his wife never spoke to him after that for 6 months. And his friend said, that's really not grateful. That just shows no appreciation. You brought your wife this expensive diamond necklace and she doesn't speak to you for 6 months. The husband said, yeah, that was the deal. I think a few husbands will think, oh yeah, that's a good idea. It might be worth it. Anyway, sorry about that. It is the 29th anniversary party. So anyway, but you just watch the breath come in, and then you get nice and peaceful and calm and happy. So it's actually, I will lead the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes of this. And after the meditation's finished, we'll have a few questions and answers. But one of the questions people always ask, how can you carry on doing this at home? One of the wonderful ways, if you try to do it yourself when you first start, you go all over the place. So what I really encourage these days, you do have these things called smartphones, and so you can download some of the guided meditations you hear here, all for free. Download them. If you can't do that, get your children to do that, and then they'll do it for you. And then when you want to meditate, press the button, you put in the earplugs, the earphones, whatever you call them, and then it's like you've got your favourite monk or your favourite nun, your favourite teacher right next to you talking to you. And that actually helps you, that guides you for the first 15 minutes of the meditation. And that is much better than trying to do it by yourself. And then after a while, once you've been totally brainwashed by a monk like me, then you don't need the guided talk anymore. You can do it by yourself. But in the meantime, I really advise using that guided meditation. That really helps. Okay. Any comments or questions about the meditation? Yeah, down there.
So you know how you were saying that, like, say if you had a stomach ache or
Yeah.
you had a headache or whatever, you concentrate on the pain to the point
Yeah.
that you relax. What if you concentrate on the pain and you just get really, really anxious and you have to stop concentrating?
It's because the anxiety is what's causing it to get worse.
Yeah.
So this is a little by little. See if you can learn. Just when you're anxious, it does get worse, but sometimes it gets better. It gets less painful. So see if you can make that connection there. Because what you're doing, you're learning from that feedback a new way of responding. To leaving it alone, letting it be, caring. Because I know that sometimes if you've got like an animal, like a dog or a cat, which you really love, and when you actually shout at it or kick it, what does the dog do? But when you're kind,
I can imagine it would whimper and go.
yeah, but imagine when you're really kind to it.
Yeah, loves licks.
Yeah, it licks.
Yeah.
So whatever you got your pain anywhere, look upon it like your dog or your cat, and just imagine it's like a little dog or a cat inside of you, and be kind to it. Don't be anxious. And you find if you give it that kindness, the real softness, that love, you find it gets a bit less.
Try.
Yeah. So the anxiety, if the anxiety does come up, and it becomes too great, then switch to something else, to another part of the body. because you don't want to get too anxious about anything. And a lot of time, like the kindness, the softness. And remember that as Rachel said, I am a really famous meditation teacher, so you're in the best hands possible. I teach psychologists and psychiatrists, so you're, in the best place possible.
Yeah, I just find that like when I have a really bad neck.
Oh yeah.
Like from I suppose it's accidents when I was younger.
Okay.
And it's just like kind of at the top, and I find that so I can rarely sit there for half an hour with my neck up.
Yeah.
Then I get through the day. But I find that when I try to concentrate on it.
Don't concentrate on it. Yeah, this is great you said that, because I did pick up on it. You don't concentrate on it. You invite it in. So concentrate using too much force. The word concentration is one of the worst words possible. So you just focus on it. Just investigate it. Have a look. See what happens. A lot of time, if that's the main part of your physical problem, you don't need to actually even concentrate on it. It comes to you. You can feel it.
Okay.
So,
like my dog.
Yeah, like the dog. Dog will come to you. So, concentration is a really bad word. Too much force. I think inviting it in, just being kind to it, and then these things, they come to you. And it's very powerful, so you may have some good results here. Okie dokie. So, let's get going. I'm going to go kind of where I belong, on the floor. Okay, need lights, action, shoot. Here we go. So you close your eyes. And when your eyes are closed, your awareness is not so distracted by visual objects, by sights. So when you close your eyes, you can go more inside of yourself. And especially you can be more sensitive to the physical feelings in your body. So with your eyes closed, just check that every part of your body is comfortable. And be really meticulous. How are your feet right now? Do your feet need to be adjusted? When you sit on a chair, if you've got short legs, it's good to put something underneath your feet, a little cushion or a stool. If you've got long legs, put something underneath your bottom, so you know that your bottom is raised. Because all the chairs are exactly the same size. You're not, some people long legs, short legs, so you try and adjust so you are comfortable. And your bottom on the chair, it's okay to fidget, because when you fidget, you are being aware to see if I move my bottom this way or that way, does it get more comfortable? And you don't stop until you find the most comfortable position for your bottom. And then your back, you can lean back against the chair, lean forward, move to the left or the right, until you can find the best possible position for your back. Especially your shoulders. People have so much stress in their shoulders, which means they always have to have them massaged if you can afford it. And one of the reasons is because they're not aware enough about how to just relax your own shoulders. So just check them out, move them, until you can find the best position for them. Same with your arms and hands. And also with your head, especially your face. So check the muscles around your eyes and around your mouth, because that is a very clear signal of how tense you are or how relaxed you are. If you're tense, afraid, struggling, you tend to scrunch up those muscles around your eyes and your mouth. But if you're relaxed, sort of happy, then those muscles relax. You get all nice and loose. So put your awareness, your mindfulness, on the muscles of your face and see how much you can relax your own face. You notice that it's actually you who scrunch these things up, and it's you who can open up, let go, expand, take off the tightness. The mindfulness allows you to get feedback, and you learn from that feedback what you need to do to relax your own face. If you need to cough, you can cough at any time, scratch, whatever you need to do. When you think that your body is as comfortable as you can get it through movement, now we go to the deeper way of relaxing the body. So what feeling in your body stands out above every other one? The young lady who has the injured neck, straight away you'll be able to be aware of that neck. You have tummy ache, or sinus problems or whatever, you'll find you'll be aware that that is a part of your body which is irritating. Just allow the mind to zoom in on that part, but not with too much force, with very lots of gentleness. And once you are aware of that part of the body which is irritating or painful, see if you can notice that irritation or pain change. Sometimes it gets worse, sometimes it gets better. And see if you can, as I say, join the dots to see the attitude of your mind, how you regard that feeling changes it. And if you do look upon these things with any type of force, control, fear, it tenses up and it gets much worse. If you look upon it with kindness, like it's your dear favourite little dog, you can imagine just stroking it, smiling at it, opening the door of your heart to it. Then you find it gets a little bit less irritating or painful. The mindfulness is there to give you feedback. A little bit of trial and error. You soon learn how to make that pain or that feeling in your body less intense. And even if you relax it a tiny bit, it gives you some confidence that you can take this really further, to relax everything. You learn it's just the way that our mind reacts to the injuries, the pains, the difficulties in our body. It can make it so much worse, or it can take a lot of the stuff away. So for me, I've just got some little irritations in my sinuses, so I'm just focusing on them. Feel the pressure. My mindfulness can give me feedback. Now I'm looking at these feelings with this beautiful kindness, letting it be, not trying to change it or get rid of it. It is just like I'm taking the pressure off it. Like I often imagine a string or rope being stretched on both ends, causing it to be tense, tight. And I imagine letting go of both ends, so the rope is loose, with no tightness, no tension at all. I imagine that in my sinuses now, or the girl in your neck. So nothing is being held tight. Things become loose. Sometimes you react with the wrong way and it gets tighter. It doesn't matter. Now be kind again. First try, sometimes it may be difficult, but usually you learn how to relax it a little bit, quite significant usually. Because the mindfulness gives you feedback, and the kindness does the job of relaxing. Until for me, my sinuses are now quite clear. So once one part of the body is relaxed, you go to another part. Maybe my lower intestines. You're aware of them. You can notice a feeling. And you learn to relax the feeling. The awareness allows you to learn what makes it worse, what makes it better. And soon you learn what kindness truly is, what letting go is. The kindness of letting go is what makes that tightness, that pain, less. It's a wonderful insight, a wonderful training. Because soon you learn to be able to relax anything in your own body. I keep relaxing my own body, part by part, until my own body gets so relaxed, it like tingles. Really loose, open, nothing tight, hardly any aches and pains anywhere. Just like sometimes you wake up on a Sunday morning, don't have to go to work, don't have to get up for anything. Really cozy and relaxed in your bed. There's no pressure on any part of your body. We're letting our body be, not forcing it, being kind, and feeling the body relax really deeply. Stay with your body, the feelings there. If one part is relaxed, go to another part which is still irritating or agitated or painful. So allowing it to be. If you're trying to get rid of pain, it gets worse. If you're kind to it, letting it be, then it relaxes. your body is relaxed enough, you can carry on doing the relaxing of the body all through the meditation if you wish. For those of you whose body is reasonably okay now, you can go into your mental world. And just to notice how peaceful or how agitated is your mind right now. Just to know that quality, agitation versus peace. See if you can do the same thing which relaxes your body. Just letting this moment be. Being kind to your poor old brain. You've worked it so hard. See if you can just let it be. And see if you can notice yourself becoming a little bit more peaceful. If you find yourself getting more agitated, you're going in the wrong direction. So learn from that and do something different. And soon the feedback which you get from mindfulness will teach you how to make your mind a little bit more peaceful, not so burdened. Just like there is tensions in the body, like a rope being pulled on two ends. The same with your mind. Sometimes all the stuff you think you have to do, all the pressures on you, pulling you this way, pulling you that way. Imagine whoever's on the end of that string letting it go. So you're not being pulled. You're not being pushed. No pressure on your mind. Feel the peace increase. With a little practice, you become very aware of this thing we call peace of mind, and how to make it deeper and stronger. Aware of the opposite, the agitated mind, and how to calm it down. Just with kindness, letting be, opening the door of your heart to this moment. Sometimes it's at this point, you might just naturally become aware of your breathing, or you feel that you need to focus on something. If so, just know your breath as it comes into your body, know your breath as it goes out. Naturally, don't force it. And as your breath comes in, imagine you're breathing in peace, freedom, health. Just imagine that in whatever way you can. You can visualize it, you can just say its name, but feel it coming in to your body, to your mind, to your life. Peace, health, energy. And when you breathe out, feel the out-breath taking away all the pain, problems, anything you need to let go of. Imagine it like a rider travelling on a horse. Like this is your, whatever you want to let go of, going out with your breath. You can imagine like pure the smoky toxins going out. Breathing in peace. Breathe out, let go. Breathing in peace. Breathe out, let go. And don't just say those words, feel them. Peace, breathing in. And breathe out, let go. As you breathe in peace, be mindful enough to see the peace go stronger, more solid, more deep. And as you breathe out, let go. All of the tightness, the tensions, all of that leaving with your out breath. Breathing in peace. Breathe out, let go. Just notice also how you feel. How happy it is to be a little bit peaceful. This is just the start of the happiness. So keep on breathing in happiness. Breathe out all the problems. Breathing in energy, breathing out tiredness, breathing in energy, breathing out tiredness. Breathing in kindness, love. Breathing out all the negativity. Breathing in love. And imagine love, pure love, is coming in with every in-breath. And all that's negative, breathing it out. All this negative you've accumulated over the day, breathing it out. Breathing in love, peace, health. And feel it as much as you can. Don't put any pressure on yourself. So there's no boss inside of you telling you what to do or how you should do things. You just being. Breathing in love, breathing out let go. As peaceful as you can be. How do you feel right now? How peaceful are you? And how relaxed is your body? Because it's coming to the end of this meditation period already. Has it worked? Why? What worked? I would like to use the last minute of meditation, just like doing a debriefing, just looking at my mind, just seeing what I've done and how it worked. This is where I learn. I'm now going to ring the gong 3 times. And please wait for the third sound from the gong before you open your eyes. Sometimes if we come out of meditation too fast, it's just too jarring. So listen to the sound of the gong, and the third ringing of the gong, open your eyes.
Nearly there.
Yes. There we go. Got sniffles.
Oh.
Okay. So, did that work for you okay?
Yeah, it did. I didn't try like kind of sitting up, I slowed down that time.
No, it's great.
The next time, yeah.
Good, yeah, you can lay down. No trouble at all. So, is there a question there? Okay. Sometimes at the last half an hour we do a little bit of Q&A. See what's on here. I am living with a sober alcoholic who blames me for everything. I do not know how to live. Thanks. Okay. I know that sometimes people, they blame you, but sometimes, I don't know if they actually mean it sometimes, because sometimes they're just afraid of themselves, they're really upset about how they've lived, and they take it out on other people. But sometimes the nicest thing, if you're living with somebody else, he may blame you some of the time, but they don't usually blame you all of the time. And there is a way to, obviously if it's harming you, then you need to sort of seek some professional advice, because domestic violence causes a huge amount of problems, especially if someone has an alcoholic problem. But one of the reasons they have an addiction problem is because they don't really feel their worth very much, the old lack of self-worth. And one way to help them overcome that problem is whenever they do something which you like, which you think is appropriate, whenever they do an act of kindness or an act of gratitude, please let them know it. Reinforce their good behavior. And if you can, it's a difficult thing to do, just to ignore their bad behavior, then that's a wonderful way which we change another person. Because just the nature of our minds is that we always like approval, we always respond to praise, and if we can praise the part of that person which is good and beautiful, it's amazing just how they can change. Obviously I don't have too much experience with people who are alcoholic, because I live in a monastery. But you do have problems with people who have addictions to all sorts of things, and a lot of times that they don't feel they're worth it to get themselves together, and to somehow prove to a person they are worth so much that they don't need to destroy themselves and their happiness like that. And the way that's achieved is pointing out to themselves their beautiful part. There's an old thing in Buddhism that everybody's got some Buddha nature inside of them. Even the most meanest, violent, pedophiles, rapists, they've always got some good inside them somewhere. And it's our job is actually to look for that and see that and bring that out. And of course my experience has not been with alcoholics as much as with people in prisons. And some of the stuff which people in prisons have done is terrible, terrible stuff. The amount of harm they've caused. But it's teaching a person to see the other part of them. I know I've said this before here, but all the times I've been in prisons, I've never yet seen a criminal. I've never seen a murderer. I've never seen a rapist or a thief. All I've ever seen is a person who's committed a terrible crime. I've seen a person who's stolen, a person who's raped, but that doesn't make them a rapist. They're much more than that. The problem is that they can't see that themselves, and they think they're a terrible, terrible person. But my job is to try and point out the other part to them. It's a wonderful thing when they do that. That some of our monks go to the local prison, Carnet. It's just up the road from our monastery. In fact, it's so close that sometimes people have got lost and they've turned up looking for the monastery at Carnet and asked, are there any monks in here? They have. But anyhow, some of those people in the prison there, you can actually understand where they're coming from, and they've done some terrible, terrible choices, and they think they're terrible people. And my job is the good old story of the 2 bad bricks in the wall. If you don't know that story yet, it's all in my book. It's one of the best stories which I've ever written, about when I first building monastery down at Serpentine. I had to lay the bricks. We couldn't afford any builders. When I finished my first brick wall, I realised there were 2 bricks which were crooked. And I don't know how they got there, because I was really careful. So as soon as I saw those 2 bricks which spoiled the whole wall, what I wanted to do is actually I tried to scrape the mortar out, the cement mortar, so I could reset those bricks to make the wall look perfect again. But the mortar was too hard. So I actually asked the other monk who was there with me, can we buy some dynamite? I wanted to blow the wall up so I could start again, because those 2 bad bricks spoiled the whole wall. And whenever I went past that wall, my eyes went to the 2 faults. And even honestly, that I dreamt of that wall at night time. I had nightmares. I woke up in a sweat because I'd stuffed up the first wall I'd built, and everybody could see it, and it looked terrible. And it was 3 months of suffering until this fellow came with me, and they saw the wall, and they said that was a beautiful wall. And I was stunned. And I thought the guy was crazy. And actually I said to him, I remember at the time, have you left your glasses, your spectacles in the car? Are you blind? Can't you see the 2 bad bricks? And that's when they taught me. This is a very, very important lesson. The visitor said, yes, I can see the 2 crooked bricks, but I can also see the 998 good bricks as well. And it was at that point I realized I was blind. I'd been blind for 3 months, because every time I thought of that wall, went past it, all I ever saw were my 2 mistakes. That's all I saw, 2 mistakes. And I needed someone to point out that to the left, to the right, above and below, there were beautiful bricks, perfect bricks. And that's actually what I teach to some of the prisoners. Yeah, you're always thinking of the reason why you're in this prison. The terrible bad thing you did. And you can't excuse that. It was a very crooked brick you laid. But what's to the left and the right, above and below those things? And you know, there was recently there was a fellow in Carnet. He murdered 2 people. He killed them. And he was going around saying, he read my book and said, it's only 2 bad bricks, that's all. It's only 2 bad bricks. But fair enough, he's seen that. He did 2 terrible things, but there's so many other beautiful good things he's done in his life. So when he gets released from jail at the end of his sentence, he won't self-destruct. He realizes he's seen the other part of him which is not a murderer. And that's actually why when they leave, they actually make it in this world. And it's the same with an alcoholic. He's not an alcoholic, there's more to him than that. Or to her, whatever it is. I assume it's a him. Usually is. Much more to him than that. Much more as someone who's abusive. See if you can see that. Focus on that so he can see that himself. Because when he does, sees the beautiful side of himself, that was what will grow. It's the simile which I use, and I practice this. You can water the flowers or you can water the weeds in a garden, in a person. If you water the flowers, they're going to grow. You water the weeds grow. So this is it. If you put too much focus on his bad qualities, they will keep on growing. But if you can focus on the beautiful qualities of a person, they see them themselves and they grow in them. And you can take some of the people who are just really, really terrible people, and actually they become beautiful, wonderful people. And they transform, and it's great to see that. So that's they blame you for everything, and that's because it's their little cry for help. They know that they're so lucky to be with someone like you, can live with them. That's when you blame other people for stuff. It is just, it's just a way that when we're suffering, when we're really having a hard time, we don't know really what to do, we always take it out on other people. So a lot of the time we take it out on people we love. And that's why the people who blame you the most are the people who love you the most. Your husband and wife comes back home and because it's as if that they feel that you can understand what they're going through. And they're venting. So don't take it too personally. And I often actually say, this is a nice thing I learnt the other day, that when you're kind to someone, when you love them, you only whisper to them. Wow, they're really late today. But anyway, when you love someone and you're kind to them and you have a good relationship, you whisper to them. But when you're really angry at them and upset at them, you shout at each other. Why is that? And the reason is because when you whisper to someone, it shows you're very close to them. But when you shout, it shows how distant you are. It's a very lovely way of understanding it. If a person's shouting at you, it means that emotionally you're distant. And it's as if the mind thinks you're physically distant, so you need to shout. But if you're very close to a person, you don't need to shout. You can just whisper and they can hear you, they can understand you. So if you do find that a person's shouting at you all the time in your home, it means you've grown some distance emotionally. So see if you can actually bridge that distance and come a little bit closer together. I don't mean physically, but I mean emotionally. And what brings you closer together is that just little bit of kindness. Okay, the next one. How do you avoid apathy and indifference when striving for equanimity to let go? Oh, I don't feel like I want to answer that question today. I'm going to let that go. Okay, when we are letting go of stuff, this is just what you do in meditation. It's a wrong thing to let go if you're riding on the back of a motorbike down the Kwinana freeway. Do not let go. Attach as hard as you can. It is a time to let go and a time to hold on. And the reason why we do meditation is we know how to strive and hold on to things. We're very good at that. But what we don't know how to do is how to learn how to let go and to do absolutely nothing, to relax and rest. We've just had the Anzac Day weekend. What did you do over the last 3 days? Actually, yeah. Did you do nothing? Or were you really busy doing all of the loose ends? Going to visit this person, going to do other stuff, getting all of the jobs in your house finished. Or did you learn how to enjoy it? It was a holiday. And these days people don't know how to enjoy holidays. Some people, they have a few days off and they've got this wonderful, beautiful house and they abandon it, go somewhere else. Spending all of the time making your house really comfortable, really beautiful, and as soon as you have the chance, you go somewhere else, which is expensive and tiring, and there's no place like home, there's no bed like your bed, no matter if you stay in a 5-star hotel, your bed is always the most comfortable. If you go and get in the best restaurant, your food is always the best. So why do people leave their home on a holiday? For me, if I had actually I do have holidays. I actually stay in my cave. I don't go somewhere else for a holiday. I put a lot of effort into that cave. It's my home. It knows me. I know it. So that's where I hang out. If I have a holiday, I go nowhere. So the reason we learn how to let go is so we can learn how to rest. So how can you let go? This is one of those nice little stories I haven't said here for a while. I have so much work to do. I was recently in Indonesia, really, really heavy schedule. 6 cities, 6 talks, 6 days, thousands of people, lots of signing of books and stuff. And then when I come back here, I've got monastery at Serpentine to look after. I've got Jhana Grove Retreat Centre over the road. I got our city centre. We've got a big occasion. We had a Thai New Year last week. All this work to do, and people from all these other monasteries ringing me up and counselling for somebody's son is not doing well at school, and somebody else is having trouble with their marriage, and somebody else is dying of cancer, and somebody else is... And it's so busy for me. But I learnt how to relax, like I did last Monday, coming back from a busy weekend in town, because I go over to Nolamar on the weekend, and I look after monastery Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I do 2 or 3 jobs. But I got into this practice when I come back for working over the weekend in our city centre. On a Monday morning, I do the visitor practice. Because I always notice when everybody, like you guys, you go visit my monastery, oh, it's so peaceful there. It's so beautiful there. And I sometimes think, what the hell are you talking about? There's so much work for me over there. Maybe peaceful for you, but you're not the abbot. You haven't got all these monks to counsel and look after when they're doing things wrong to tell them off. You don't have to organise all the sweeping and all the accounts and all these people who come here and ask you for a blessing for this and a blessing for that and I don't know what you bless. What do you mean it's a peaceful place? And I realised that when you go to the monastery in Serpentine, you see it in a different way than I see it. The reason is because you're a visitor and I'm an owner. So I decided to pretend. One morning a week, usually Monday morning, to pretend to be you. To be a visitor to the monastery where I'm the boss. And you know what happened? As soon as I didn't own the monastery, wasn't the boss there, I could see it was peaceful too. I could see it was beautiful. When somebody came up to me and asked me, I need to talk to you about my meditation. Sorry, I'm only a visitor. I'm not the abbot today. Go see someone else. The telephone rang, want to see to Ajahn Brahmavamso. No, he's not here today. And when we saw all the things which were all over the place, tools haven't been put away, I'm a visitor. I don't do anything. If you visit somebody's house for dinner, how many of you wash up afterwards? In somebody else's house. If you're visiting somebody's house for half a cup of coffee, do you vacuum the carpet for them? Of course you don't. It's not your job. You're just a visitor. If you're visiting somebody's house, you just have the cup of coffee, thank you very much, and it's their job to wash up and clean up afterwards. You're visiting. How many of you, when you visit, say, King's Park, get out the water can and water all the flowers for them? It's not your job, you're visitors, you relax. So I decided to once a week to be a visitor in the place where I live, to learn how to let go. And I encourage you to do the same. In your own house, for 2 hours a week minimum, imagine you're a visitor. So you can have a cup of coffee and you don't wash up afterwards. It's not my job. You can sit down on the chair and you can just watch the TV or listen to the music and you don't have to do anything. You're only visiting, like it's somebody else's house. And then you can actually enjoy its peace. You can sit in the garden like it is, the owned by Armadale Council, which means you don't have to do anything. You just sit in the garden. Yeah, the bushes need pruning and things need watering, but it's not your job. It's not your job. You can just sit there and enjoy it as it is. And just sit and watch the birds flying and twittering around all over the place with not a care in the world. So you can learn how to let things be. So like being a visitor, that's how you let go. It's not apathy, because you can do that for 2 hours. I do that on Monday morning, Monday afternoon. Here we go, now I have to do my work. But at least you get a rest. The problem is most people, they don't know how to rest. It's work, 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 work. All the time. And some of you, I really feel sorry for you, you really worked hard in your life, you had your family, you brought up your kids, and as soon as your kids leave home, they have kids and now you're free daycare for them. You never have any rest. Poor people. You think that once your kids are grown up, you're free of them. And then they have kids and dump them on you. It's very cheap, isn't it? Grandma care. But anyhow, it's really important to give yourself some rest and breaks. And one of my other sayings is, when you go home, don't go being one of these people who always has to have everything perfect in your house, like your house is some museum. So don't live in a museum, live in a house. Which means that when you go into your kitchen, don't go washing up all the dishes until you count. Count how many clean cups and saucers there are, and how many dirty cups and saucers there are, and if the clean ones are in the majority, quit while you're ahead. Otherwise you're always working, you never know how to let things be. Because my other saying is, never do today what you can put off until tomorrow, because you might die tonight. And one day that's going to be true. And one day that's going to be true, and you spend all tonight cleaning up the house, washing the dishes, and you're dead in the morning. So you can't enjoy it. So please, for goodness sake, learn how to relax. And this is why we teach letting be, because everybody knows how to do things in our world. They don't know how to let things be. And they often think, if I let things be, it's going to get worse. And a lot of time it doesn't. I've got all this scientific documents, like in Jerusalem a few years ago. The doctors went on strike for 2 weeks, only did emergency work. And in those 2 weeks, the death rate in Jerusalem plummeted when the doctors weren't working. There was in the United States, people noticed 3 times a year, the people dying from cardiac disease spiked downwards. Hardly anybody died on these 3 days a year. And I want to find out what was special about these days. And those were the 3 days where there were major conferences for cardiac specialists. When they weren't in their hospital, then there were spikes downwards. Not so many people died. When the government is not talking, actually the economy usually goes much better. When the traffic lights are blacked out, traffic goes usually much better. So a lot of times, not always, a lot of times letting go, doing nothing, is the best thing you could possibly do. As in that story which was in my first book of the soldier. This was, I was a young man, he was a very old man, he told me this story. He was in the British Army in the Second World War, stationed in Burma, fighting the Japanese. And he was just with a small group of soldiers on just scouting around. And unfortunately, big trouble. They stumbled in unexpectedly into a huge number of Japanese soldiers. It's a good story to tell, Anzac Day. Huge number of Japanese soldiers. And they were completely surrounded, totally outnumbered. What to do next? This was a war. This was really frightening stuff. Totally outnumbered, totally surrounded. He thought this was it. He was going to die. But he was brave. He thought, we'll try and fight our way out. Who knows? One of us might make it. You can make it if you're Bruce Willis in a movie, but in real life, no way. So, he thought he would try and fight his way out. But his captain, his commanding officer said, no, we will not try and fight our way out. Instead, he ordered the small number of soldiers to sit down and make a cup of tea. It was the British Army after all. But Well, who can think of having a cup of tea at war, real war, in the jungles, thousands of miles from home, surrounded by the enemy, about to die? Who could think of having a cup of tea there? He thought it was the craziest thing he'd ever done in his whole life. But it actually saved his life. Because while they were making the tea and drinking it, the scout came back and said, the enemy has moved now. There's a way out. We can escape. And of course, every one of those soldiers escaped without any harm, which is why he could tell the story. And he learned from that, when you are surrounded by the enemy, with no way out, about to die, make a cup of tea, sit down, and relax. Because things always change. And when they do change, if you're ready, you can take the opportunity and escape. And that is what I wanted to suggest to the Fremantle dockers. You're bottom of the table, nothing to do, so what to do? Sit down and have a cup of tea. And then things change and they can take advantage. But that's the point, is we worry so much, and when we worry so much, we can't just relax. And because we don't know how to relax, things continue to go wrong. So that's what we teach here, learning how to let go. It's not apathy, because we know how to let go if you come to places like this. When you already know, you already be great at doing stuff, and you balance them. When there's nothing to do nothing. When there's something to do, give it everything you've got. And that way you will have a very successful life.